Welcome, everybody, to Best of Three. It's an esports podcast by Organized Gaming. I'm StillJustMike, and here I'm with people whose audio that I'm going to mute in just a second. To my right, it's Stevan Petrusic. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Just rubbing the mic up on my face.
Absolutely.
Usual.
And you know what? Now that I've said it, I actually have to keep it in. So, well, actually, the stuff that you're... Okay. And to my left, of course, we've got Alex Kim. Alex, how are you doing today?
Good. Pretty tired from Dreamhack. I think Steven probably is too. Slept a lot today.
Yeah, really.
I died last night.
You guys, when did you come? Like, did you drive back?
Yeah, we got home like...
I think I dropped you off at like 2:30.
Oh
yeah,
my
something
gosh.
like that.
I got home at like 3:30ish.
Yeah,
I got home a long time before that because I didn't go.
And we're talking about AM.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
not PM, AM.
You guys are nuts. But good for you guys. You guys went to Montreal.
It was such a good trip.
Oh
I had a
gosh.
fantastic time actually.
Before we actually get into Dreamhack, I want to ask you guys, like, what was the road trip like?
The road trip.
Yeah.
Road trip was awesome.
was fun.
Shout out to Gananoque. Best McDonald's we ever had.
I don't know how to pronounce that city, but they actually had the best McDonald's I've ever had in my life.
I got so many messages on Discord and Instagram about how good the Gananoque McDonald's was, and I was like,
Do you know if
it's
that's
a
how you pronounce
McDonald's,
it?
dude. I don't know.
Oh, we just
whenever I
assume
look at
that's where Ganondorf is from. So
Yeah, that's his home village.
I mean, whenever I look at the sign, I'm like, oh, Gananoque? I don't know, something like that. Gananoque? Like, you know, it's definitely not.
Gananoque.
Yeah, that's
I
what
like
it
that
is.
one. Gananoque McDonald's.
Tell me about this McDonald's. Oh, I don't want to spend more than 30 seconds on this.
all
but
right, they had table service,
Yes.
so they will bring your food to you. It was the freshest McDonald's I've ever had, and it was like their customer service was
Over the
very,
top.
very good.
Really
next
good.
level.
Where was it still like served by teens?
No.
Yes and no.
Oh.
Yes and no.
Oh yeah. Maybe not.
The lady that brought us our food was probably a teen.
Oh.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have good mentors at that McDonald's, clearly.
I'm not sure what it is. I think it's just a slower pace, and it just everything is just they focus more on quality because there's not as much to do. Maybe. So,
Whenever nobody's there, they just train their staff. I mean, it's a good thing to do. I mean, some of the more high volume
Quantity over
McDonald's, they
quality.
don't get time to train their staff.
it's all quantity, right? So,
Okay, so after you went to the McDonald's,
Yes.
you powered through, you went over to Montreal.
Yep.
Any other things in between that? Like, what was the drive like? What happened?
On the way into the city, they have a crazy bridge that had like the coolest light show on it. I don't even know what was going on.
That looked really nice. And then next to that, there was some sort of like carnival, I believe.
Okay.
The old port.
Old Port. There's
Yeah.
carnival there. Bunch of lights lit up. That was really cool passing through that
Oh,
to
that's
get
awesome.
to the
Beautiful.
venue.
And then
so.
the city's full of tunnels too, like that you drive
Oh.
through, and the tunnels are really dope.
That's awesome.
Like if I could park in the middle of one of those tunnels and just take pictures or videos, like it'd be really cool.
On the way back, where did we stop? We stopped by an airport hangar.
Okay.
So Chibi's boyfriend, we dropped her off there, and
Yeah.
he works at like a hangar. So we got to go into some like private planes, look at all the planes,
Whoa.
and like check out the hangar and stuff. That was really cool.
What?
It was really good. The trip was amazing
That's amazing.
overall.
And I didn't get to go.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little upset about it, but I got to see tons of stuff. I got to see all the stuff that you guys were posting on Instagram. But what I wanted to do today, actually, I wanted to come on the podcast and kind of get your take as to what Dreamhack is like. Now, I mean, when I think of Dreamhack, I've seen all the different kinds of streams for it, but I've never really been to the actual place. I don't have that experience, and I feel like a lot of people don't. And so I want to kind of I'm going to come to the table from the perspective of somebody who's never been to Dreamhack because I haven't, and you guys. It's really funny right now because looking across the table, both of them are wearing their Dreamhack sweaters, and it's really upsetting.
We just came to rub it in a little bit.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
true. And you guys can come from the perspective of somebody who just came from it. And you guys actually, you did a lot more than a normal person at Dreamhack would. Is that fair
We
to
didn't
say?
get to really have fun. Like we didn't go and play the indie games or do any of the contests or giveaways or anything like that. We were really there for media,
Right.
and work. Because we went there to work under organized gaming. But we did have a little bit of fun.
That's
we had
good.
a little bit of fun.
It was. I mean, when you really love what you do, anyways, like everything you do is fun. So
Yeah.
I had a great time regardless.
The best part was the people we met. Really.
Yeah, people we went with, people we met. And all of our friends from Waveform obviously were there.
Yeah.
A bunch of our friends from Toronto, competitors, spectators, whoever, we saw a bunch of them there as well.
Wow.
Francisco from World Gaming was there. So
We got to meet Steph.
Steph Harvey, that was really cool. Yeah.
And Jay from
Mirage.
Esports.
Wow.
Yeah. So he
All
was
these
a
people
Smash
that-
player.
All of these people that I wish that I could meet and could not meet.
It's
That's
okay.
okay. That's okay.
Next time.
Because I have you guys here today, and that's what's important. So
Where do you want to start?
here's exactly where I want to start. I want to kind of get a zoomed out version of Dreamhack because, of course, on Best of 3, we don't leave the people alone. We always zoom out far enough for people to understand what it is we're talking about before we zoom into the finer things.
Mm-hmm.
So Dreamhack in and of itself, what is it?
Well, did we talk about this last week?
We talked a little bit about it last
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
So, but Dreamhack is essentially, I want to say, like the world's biggest esports festival.
Yeah.
There's other cons and festivals, but esports is always sort of
A second hand to it. Or
right. Esports was really front and center in this festival, this kind of con, right? So.
And so when I think of conventions, I'm thinking like EGLX, or I'm thinking like Get on My Level, like all those kind of things. Is it
even
is it similar?
Fan Expo, Anime North, they also have some esports tournaments and gaming related events happening there. But yeah,
But Dreamhack is like you bring your own computer, 24 hours for the whole weekend. You have access to this like Olympic Stadium in Montreal, which let's just say how awesome that was.
Okay, the building looks fantastic. It's an absolutely massive, gorgeous building. Looks great. Really hard to navigate. really hard
really
to navigate.
complicated. Yeah. We got lost and found ourselves at a pool. We were like, what? How did we get here?
Okay.
And then we were like, oh, okay, just follow the people where all the people are going. We ended up at a food truck festival that was also there.
Montreal, damn. Damn,
Yeah,
Montreal.
and the
What
food
hell,
truck festival was at the Olympic Stadium on like the second floor. I don't even know how they got the food
How'd they get the trucks up there? Yeah. They built them on the second floor.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Just broke them up into 5 equal parts, carried them up.
But when you finally find your way and you get into the stadium, it is breathtaking. So grand. And the ceiling is like, I can't even.
It's a dome. So you get a dome ceiling, and they have so many lights just flashing, moving around, all around floors, walls, goes up to the roof, and then they have the Dreamhack logo like moving around, like a bat signal, just on the roof, and really
what
cool.
was really unique about Dreamhack was all the expo stuff was like in the middle, so you had all like the booths and the stands for people like the market, I guess, people like selling their stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all around Dreamhack, it's like you get a stage and you get a stage and you get a stage
Oh my
and
God.
you get
Every
a stage.
game had their own stage. How many stages were there? Like at least 8 stages, something like that.
More than that.
Yeah.
So Rocket League, Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six Siege, Brawlhalla had a stage.
Mortal Kombat.
I
Mortal
heard
Kombat had a
StarCraft was
stage.
in there as well.
StarCraft,
Wow.
Smash Bros. Bell had a stage.
Omen had a stage, which was the
Which is
Counter-Strike.
CS:GO.
Yeah.
I think we're missing one.
I'm so curious how the
Rainbow Six.
There it is.
Tekken.
Yes.
So that's 10.
There you go.
I'm so curious how the StarCraft tournament went. Were there a lot of people watching that? It's a great spectator sport, so I can imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
StarCraft was hype.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
so much more hype than I've ever seen StarCraft be. It was like nuts.
It was a very important tournament for StarCraft.
Why is that?
StarCraft, you had teams like Team Liquid, TSM. You had sort of these massive pro teams, right? The only so I want to say StarCraft and Rocket League had sort of the most like top level pro tier
Rocket
teams.
League, eh?
Yeah.
Wow,
Rocket League
that's
was
kind of
bumping.
surprising.
Rocket
Really?
League
Those were the two big games. Sorry, I want to say R6 too. R6
okay.
definitely had their pro teams there as well.
I heard
But-
there was like a major upset that happened in Rainbow Six.
Rocket League.
In Rocket League as well, eh?
Rocket League. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure. I didn't follow Rainbow Six too much
Right.
there, but Rocket League definitely was super hype, super big upset.
I think they had the loudest crowd, right?
Rocket League?
Rocket
It was
League?
either Rocket League or StarCraft. They were in
They
the
were
same
so
corner.
loud.
So those are 2 of the 10 that you listed that I definitely would not have expected to be 2 of the loudest crowds.
The quietest crowd was CS:GO.
No.
Yeah.
$5 million prize pool 2020. What?
Yeah, they had the quietest crowd.
That's
It was weird.
incredible.
I want to say the StarCraft was largely made up of BYOC.
Okay.
And that's why. So you have the pro tier organizations sort of in the Rocket League and the StarCraft. So there was no real like BYOC tournament or anything for it. So you're talking pro level teams, and that's why they had a lot of spectators and fans.
Oh, because they had a lot of people support, a lot of viewers who are already interested in it. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my
It was a
gosh.
lot of fun. StarCraft, to be honest, amazed me. I've never actually seen a StarCraft tournament that hype before.
You
so
have? Oh, okay.
that hype.
That's fair.
That hype.
That's fair.
Because they
that's
had a
fair.
StarCraft tournament at WESG,
Yeah.
I want to say like 6 or 8 months ago.
Okay.
And it was not hype at all. It was like Hearthstone and StarCraft, and the crowd was sleeping. So to see StarCraft at DreamHack like literally roaring was amazing.
See, but that's kind of where StarCraft has gone since like I want to say 2015. It was kind of in its I want to say apex, but my mind's going to go somewhere else if I say the word apex. So it was at its climax at about 2015, 2016. And then ever since then, it's kind of been dying down in hype a little bit. There have been some people trying to keep it alive. But it's so interesting to see that like it was just back. Like it was there, like it had never left.
I think again, like I think it was just an important tournament for
Yeah.
StarCraft in sort of the larger
Kind of saying like we're not dead kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
They had big names, big teams.
Yeah.
definitely.
And they needed that.
So StarCraft was actually it's the positioning of the stage or the placement of the stage was right near the entrance.
Yeah.
So the first door is you get to go down into StarCraft, and then if you pass that door and you go down, it leads to the rest of the floor on the Olympic Stadium.
So like you kind of have to say no to StarCraft to get the rest of
Exactly.
the experience. Oh, okay.
So if you think about any stadium that you've been to for concerts or for any traditional sports,
Yeah.
there's gates, right? There's gates all around in a
Yes.
circle, and around the outside is your concessions and all that stuff. So, but where you entered from, the first gate was StarCraft. You can't really tell what's going to be in the gate before you go into it. you
Right.
know?
Okay.
So you go down into the gate, and
But you
there's
see the lights, you hear the
stadium
screaming,
seats.
you walk into it, you're like, whoa, StarCraft.
Hey,
this is cool.
StarCraft, yeah.
When Steven said it was breathtaking, though, it's a stadium.
Yeah.
You get concessions, it's all concrete, whatever, and you turn the corner and you start to look out, and it's a blast of light, and it's a light show, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's really nice because there were no lights other than the ones, like the beams. There was no like there was no light that kind of casted over everything. It was like you just had the stage lights or the lights at the booths, and that was it. So it was
wow.
like dark, but also illuminated, and it was gorgeous because all the lights were like different colors. The monster booth was all green. The lights on the stage were like 4 different colors, like beaming around.
The Omen stage was all red. That was
Oh my
really
god!
cool.
The Bell stage was all blue. So you had like these sections of like really deep colors, and then the ceiling was like illuminated like crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
You guys are making me insanely jealous right now. And I guess that's the point of this episode is just make me jealous.
Yeah,
Continue. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, so you go in, you see everything, you walk past StarCraft, you see the rest of it around the arena. What were some of the major things that kind of caught your eye as you were walking around?
So you enter. One of the first things you see is Brawlhalla, which was interesting.
I'm kind of surprised at that one actually. Like Brawlhalla has been around for a long time. Like I've seen it at like past EGLXs. If I think about it, I've seen it at like past Anime Norths and like other they kind of stuck to relatively smaller conventions. So I'm impressed to see them at
I think
DreamHack.
Brawlhalla is what, 2 or 3 years old now?
Something like that. I want to say maybe
It's a relatively
even 4.
new game.
Yeah, it kind of had its popularity once like Super Smash Brothers. I want to say Brawl was out, and so that must have been a couple years ago. Because the reason that people were so interested in Brawlhalla, and probably the reason that Brawlhalla existed, was because there wasn't a really great Smash game since Melee. And so they wanted to create one, and then people were really excited to see it. And so I guess that's kind of why it's gotten its popularity.
The thing that I thought was really the coolest, though, is because every stage had its own game. Every game had its own stage. Sorry, it was completely branded. So
Right.
you get the Brawlhalla, and then next to that was Mortal Kombat 11, and you can see that it's branded Mortal Kombat 11. And
With the colors and the way the stage is made and the way the players
the way
sit
the
in
stage is made.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so the stages are all branded and made for their games. Like the Smash one had the boxes with like the Smash logo on it.
Cool.
Like the crates that are in the game were actually on the stage. The CSGO one was Omen branded, so you see like the Omen logos everywhere. It was red. They had like red neon around the entire stage. So everything was like super branded and made for their games.
Right.
Obviously, the CSGO stage would be bigger than the Smash one because you only need 2 people on the stage for Smash, but stuff like that.
And I mean, definitely when we went to other conventions, like I've seen Fortnite do that pretty well. I've seen Hearthstone does it really well. They kind of make the stage look like it's its own game.
Right.
So you're saying that like all of the stages were like that?
Yes, all of the stages had their own branding for whatever it is. Every game had their own stage. Like Counter-Strike had their own stage, but it was the Omen. It was on the Omen stage, so it was branded Omen, not Counter-Strike. But I think one of the really coolest and most sort of unique things that I saw at having it in a stadium like this is you get multiple floors. So you get the stadium seats around the outside, and you also get the floor on the inside of the stadium. So it's kind of interesting because when you're on the floor, you see the back of some of the stages are pointed towards the stadium seats, and the only way to watch is to sort of go upstairs and get into those stadium seats. But if you're on the floor, you're actually just looking at the back of the stage. So which is kind of interesting. But the way they sort of it looks really bad, but the way they sort of salvage that is they had the competitors competing behind the stage.
Oh, okay.
So the main match was happening here in the front with all the spectators watching, and there's a big, huge curtain set up and everything, and it's just sort of black. But then in front of that, you get the players that are playing out the brackets and everything. And then when they need to move on to the actual stage, they sort of play on the other side. So even though you're looking at the back of the stage, you can see that's StarCraft, and you can see that there's the players sitting there playing.
And it's really intimate because you can just go and talk to the like pro players competing.
That's incredible.
Yeah, like
you can't actually access where they're playing, but
depending on the game, R6 you could, Smash you could.
Which ones couldn't you?
StarCraft was blocked off. Rocket League was blocked off. But it wasn't like blocked off like a wall. It was just like one of those
some railings and some
railings.
Yeah,
so
like you could still talk to them from beyond the railing and
Okay.
wave at them and like call them over and see if they entertain you. Most of them would though. The people at the convention were amazing. All the pro players were really nice and everybody was very social.
Very nice.
So I like this.
Oh, sorry.
Please.
One more thing I wanted to add. The BYOC section was absolutely massive.
Really?
2 floors. So like I was talking about that 2 level. It's other cons don't get that.
A quarter of the whole area.
So they had the sort of back half of the floor, or maybe sort of the back quarter of the floor, and then beyond upstairs, you can go up the stairs from there as well. They had a whole upstairs section as well for BYOC,
and all the computers are facing the rest of DreamHack. Wow. So you're like on your computer and you're looking from above like at DreamHack. I don't even know how you'd be able to look at your computer like focus.
Oh yeah. I don't know. It was just the views were amazing.
If you guys weren't there doing media, and I want to get your ideas of the rest of Dreamhack after our break, but if you guys weren't there as media, would you have been a BYOC competitor, or would you have been just a regular old spectator? Would you have just gone for the fun of it, or would you have brought your own computer?
That's a great question. I wouldn't have brought my own computer.
Okay.
Because there wasn't a game for me specifically. Like Dota wasn't at Dreamhack. But I probably would have played Smash. I would have played Smash and been a spectator. There were so many. I love my job and I love what I do, but I also would have loved to have the time to like really take in Dreamhack and go to every stage and watch every game.
Yes.
And go to like all the stands and like talk to everybody and see what there is to experience, because there was honestly so much to do and it was all interactive. Like when you went to any booth, there was always something for you either to get or to do. Yeah. Like the Monster booth, you got free drinks. They had 5 gum there, you got free gum.
Oh, wow.
You go to the Omen one, they have all these games for you to play and like new technology they want you to try. You go to the Bell booth, you can either play against a pro, you can play the new Call of Duty. They're giving you beta codes for the new Call of Duty.
Oh, wow.
So like everywhere that you went, there was either something to do or to get. And it was like awesome. If I was a spectator, I would have loved it.
It wasn't just another venue that had a bunch of vendors that were all trying to sell the same thing.
No, every vendor was giving you something.
Right.
Like
this was more like a festival rather than a
They definitely
convention.
had a smaller expo area than some of the other events that we've been to.
I see.
So it's not meant to be an expo. It's meant to be an esports tournament. It's a festival.
Yeah.
So
that's it. You're celebrating.
They had the most stages I've ever seen.
How many vendors did they
place.
have? Like 4, 5, 6 maybe?
No, they had way more. They had way more than that.
That's how much it felt like.
No, they had like the Canada Computers one that was selling.
Okay.
They had BB Sama. They had
FanFit was there.
FanFit.
But they had also they had to have had at least like 30 vendors, something like that were selling something.
Really?
Yeah.
Am I lost?
You were totally focused on the esports.
Maybe.
But if I didn't spend too much time, honestly, in the vendor section. But if you really think about it, 30 vendors is like not that many.
Not for that big of a venue.
Really not that. I mean, I didn't spend too much time there in the vendor section. We walked it a little bit before we left.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, Steven is off.
It's almost like you need to like create.
I think 30 is a high number.
No, definitely not. There was significantly less, but there wasn't like 4.
It's almost like you need to like create a save state at the beginning of Dreamhack and then just keep on going back so that you can experience kind of all of it, because you can't be in 2 places at once. But
it's true.
That's all the reason why to go back.
And time flew by.
Did it?
At Dreamhack?
Oh, you blink and it's like the end of the day.
I think a part of that is because it's so big. Like there's so much floor to kind of traverse. So let's go over there, and then 5 minutes goes by, or like 10 minutes goes by, or let's go over there, and you're like literally walking like a football field,
right,
to get to where you want to be.
Right.
So maybe that's why time flew by, but also it was awesome.
Cool. Okay, so when we come back from the break, we're going to go a little bit deeper into your specific experiences. So we've got a good eye level of what Dreamhack is like. Now let's see what it was like for you guys. We're going to see a little bit more about that when we come back from the break. See you in a sec.
Yep.
And welcome back, guys. We are still talking about Dreamhack and your experiences and my lack of one. So the next thing I kind of wanted to talk about is like, okay, I have a better idea now of what Dreamhack is like. I feel like a lot of people out there have a better idea of what Dreamhack is like, but I want to know about your experiences specifically. Like from the second you got there, what was the first place that you decided to go, that you were targeted, that you wanted to see?
I think the first thing I did was just really walk around and try to get a quick overview of everything. Immediately, the things that stood out to me were the Rocket League stage looked amazing, and then Omen stage looked amazing. In terms of crowds, Smash had all of their players and brackets happening down behind the stage, right? So they had a huge section. One of the first things I saw, and I don't know, I like Smash, right? So it immediately caught my eye. I went there first, and I was checking it out.
Did you see any like players that you knew or?
Actually, yeah, we saw like Ryan Ford walking in. So,
oh wow,
yeah, he was there.
Hungry Box was there.
Yeah, H-Box was there, definitely. And then we met some new players like Jay, which was really cool.
Jay's a cool kid.
Yeah,
he's gonna go far. He's really, really good. Yeah.
So Jay is. Do you know Supergirl Kells?
Yeah, I've heard of
SGK. So she was
her
signed by.
Brother.
Oh no way!
Yeah,
cool.
She was signed by EMG at one point. Even Matchup Gaming from Toronto, if you don't know. And now she is with, I don't know, sponsored by Red Bull, and she's on a different team. I'm not quite certain.
I see.
But Jay is with Mirage of Northern Esports. Northern Esports is not Northern Esports, Northern Arenas.
Yeah.
Northern Arenas Esports team. So Mirage there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see anybody
Supergirl
that you
Kells is signed to a big team. Why can't I remember what team it is?
All right.
Yeah, there we go. Meanwhile, Steven, did you see anybody there that you were aware of, that you knew?
In the Smash community?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people. So we had some.
She's on Lazarus.
There it is.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking Liquid, but yeah. It's
started with an L.
Yeah.
Brain fart.
I saw a lot of local players, like RJ from Toronto.
Okay.
It was really cool to see him competing in Dreamhack.
Oh, he was there with the NCG guys, No Chill Gaming.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, Black Twins was there.
Mm-hmm.
Fwed was there.
I'm sorry, Fwed?
Fwed, like Fred without, like, if you have a lisp.
It's FWED, yeah. Fwed.
Fwed. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah, so a lot of really good players, just in general. Mars was there, not the Dota character.
Right. Not the planet.
Not the planet.
I mean, that's the first place people would go, but go on.
Yeah, a lot of players in general. Alex and I came to Dreamhack at the same time because we road tripped there together.
Okay.
And day one, we got there really late. So.
Oh my God. We got there at.
Like 10 p.m., 10:30?
Well, like in the actual.
11.
It took us probably like half an hour to an hour to actually find the place.
Wow.
But yeah, we just kept getting lost. We didn't know where we were. But we got there really late, and everything was sort of closed up. All the expo stuff was closed up before. I think they closed at like 7 or 8 or something. So we didn't get to see that, but we really just sort of saw the tail end of the competitions and stuff for that day. So,
okay, yeah, so then we walked around. So
yeah, first day was kind of
first day was a wash.
We saw it like just sort of on the tail end of it. So second day is really when we were like we got to evaluate like how many spectators are at each stage or whatever it is. So
okay, so let me ask you this then: what was the game that you sat there most for, that you watched most?
That I watched most was probably Rocket League.
Okay.
And the game that I watched most was Smash.
Definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Smash.
Okay.
Like, too much.
So what can you tell me about the actual tournaments? What happened in your respective games that you watched? Let's start with Smash.
So in Smash, we interviewed 2 players from Smash for our Passion Forward pieces. And one of them was Jay from Mirage. And like I kind of fell in love with the kid because he's just such a great personality. He's got a great story. His family is like so supportive of him, and like his mom, his sister, his manager, everybody in the crowd is like literally screaming for this kid when he's playing.
Wow.
And he had a really cool story going to top 8. He made it to top 8, so that was really cool. But the person that he was up against, which was Fwed, he had never won against. He's always lost to this guy, and Fwed is a Fox player, and Jay plays Pokemon Trainer.
Right.
So the way Jay beat Fwed was just ridiculous. I would love to get into this, but I can't even in words explain to you how good it was.
He popped off after 2 when he won. Oh, he popped off.
Yeah, he literally like threw his headset and was like screaming on stage. Yeah, it was amazing. That just the energy from that match was incredible.
Oh, and his sister SGK was going nuts.
Yeah,
too.
she was going crazy. Wow. The mom hugged. Like, it was a really big match for this kid.
Yeah.
And he made it to top 8. So that was a highlight of my spectating.
I've always said, and I mean, people have quoted me on this all the time, is just I'm the biggest fan of Big Smash energy. Like that's incredible. I'm sure there are VODs out there that people can watch, but
yeah. So it's Jay versus Fwed. Mm-hmm. You have to watch game 3. Game 1 and 2 was like good and close,
but game 3 was
the game.
That was the Big Smash energy.
Basically, I don't know if he did this on purpose. I think he did, but with Pokemon Trainer, you have 3 characters you can play. You can play Squirtle, Venusaur, and Charizard.
Ivysaur, yep.
Ivysaur. What did I say?
Venusaur.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, you can play those 3 characters. And for the first 2 matches, he stuck to Squirtle and Charizard. And on the last match,
he mixed it up.
He really, really doubled down on the Ivysaur. And Ivysaur has like a really good range, and the way that he plays.
He's got a couple good spikes.
He has really good spikes, and I'm about to get into that.
Okay.
So Jay 2 stocks Fwed, and then Fwed takes 1 stock off of Jay. And on Fwed's last stock, he's playing Fox, right? So Fox has this move where in midair he can like kind of teleport or dash.
His dash, yeah.
Yeah, he can dash to the stage. And Jay's playing Squirtle because he like was juggling him and threw him off the stage. As Fwed dashes to stage, Jay jumps, switches to Ivysaur, and spikes him. Fwed techs the spike, and then he goes down and spikes him again. And it's the craziest thing ever. If you can find the VOD, for the love of God, go find this VOD.
I need to see it.
And then Jay literally erupts from his chair because it's like the greatest play like ever of the tournament, and then 2, he finally beat this guy that has beat him all the time. So it was just incredible.
It's true. Also, I will say as a quick tangent, I think people were sleeping on Pokemon Trainer a little bit. I feel like Pokemon Trainer is such a good character in Smash.
Very good character, yeah.
Well,
100%.
because you get 3 in 1, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, there's more mind games to be had.
You can do mix-ups like that. Yeah, you can have like 2 characters with a completely different moveset than the third, and then bring out the third in the last game, and then suddenly you're double spiking people.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The thing about Pokemon Trainer, I think that people don't play him is for that reason. It's just a lot to learn. It's like Invoker or I don't know, whatever, you know.
You got to learn three
yeah.
characters to play one character. So
yeah.
Exactly.
Every game has that, right? Like you've got StarCraft Terran,
like a super high skill cap character.
Exactly.
You need to know when to use one of the three, or you know.
Yeah, like what matchups favor which of the Pokemon, and
There's just too much. There's too much in the brain for that character. But Jay knows what he's doing. So,
and so that was like your favorite moment.
That was my favorite moment of Dreamhack.
Nice,
I lost it. I've recorded it, and I was having a hard time not like erupting myself.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! You know what I want to put that VOD up. I want to get that VOD. I want to get that VOD in front of people's faces.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. So Alex, tell me about Rocket League.
I think Rocket League was the most hype game there, period. They had the best stage. Yeah. They had the blue and the orange on the 2 sides for the Rocket League.
Okay.
And you know, when they would score, it would say goal, or whoever wins, it would show the team name and stuff like that. The stage
quality was nuts.
It was so good. And I think the official DreamHack stages were Rocket League and Rainbow Six.
Okay.
So those 2 had really, really good production behind them.
Awesome. And so, you know, again, I feel like I don't need to say this, but for the people who are listening who've never heard of Rocket League, because I'm sure there's still a couple of you, it's soccer. It's car soccer. You know?
With little RC cars you can customize.
Exactly. So tell me more about Rocket League.
So Rocket League, I mean, you definitely had, so you had the sort of favorites to win, which was G2 Esports. And then what was really cool is we saw the players there, but the parents were there and so supportive of their kids.
Really?
Yeah, and you could see them like the Rizzo is a huge player on G2, and we were walking around and Papa Rizzo was always there, Mama Rizzo was there, and they had the jerseys with their names on the back.
Cool.
And they were just so into it. They were like, I asked him, can we chat a little bit, whatever. He's like, all right, after this game, like I really got to see them like win. And they were really, really into the games. He's like, which game's next? Like, oh, I got to watch that game. Even games that his son was not in.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram that you talked to Papa Rizzo.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So really supportive, and actually they're pretty passionate about the game as well. You would think that maybe they don't know too much about the game that their kid is playing or whatnot, but they're getting into
analyzing
it
it just as much as he would
as spectators,
really?
as almost as competitors, and it's really, really cool to see.
Wow.
So that was fantastic, and the crowd there was obviously loving it. It's
Peeps versus what was the name of the team? Vitality.
Vitality. Yeah.
That game was so loud. Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah.
But I'm taking that a lot of games kind of were.
Yeah. Right? So if you're walking around and you can hear eruptions in the crowd.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, where'd that come from? And most of the time it was StarCraft or Rocket League.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So you're like, oh, where is that? Something crazy must have happened. We got to get over there for this game.
And that's how you attract more people. Yeah.
Exactly. And Rocket League was also one of the last games to shut down. So eventually they start funneling all the spectators over there.
So all the people who were left over just ended up at Rocket League.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of the so Peeps, if you don't know Peeps, which most people probably wouldn't, because they were the only unsigned team to compete in the playoffs.
Oh.
All the other teams were pro teams. All the players were signed, but this was like an unsigned team. They weren't signed to an org or anything.
There isn't an underdog like that.
So
that's the underdog.
That's the underdog.
They were the crowd favorite, so the crowd fucking loved Peeps.
Really?
Yeah, because they were such an underdog story, and it turned out to be such a Cinderella story because they ended up winning the whole thing against the favorites, which was G2.
G2. G2 had a really bad Dreamhack. I actually made mention to this before the break, but Rainbow Six Siege, G2 was pretty favored there as well. And so the major upset that I was talking about, that was actually they lost to BDS Esports.
BDS, okay. I haven't heard of them.
Exactly.
Rip G2.
There's a lot of that happening, I guess.
Yeah. You played right into my hand.
Oh, man. So, better luck next time, G2, I guess. But they must still be happy. I don't know if they're happy is the word, but they took second place, I guess.
Yeah,
second place is still
second place
awesome.
in both games.
It's not bad.
Yeah. So what was that like? It was like $50K for first place. I'm not sure what second was, but Peeps took home like $50K. It was crazy because G2 actually were the ones to knock Peeps into the losers bracket.
Oh, so they came back.
Yeah,
and
they came back through the losers. Yeah. They had to play through all the pro orgs.
And then they took that momentum and used it to their advantage and won.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so what G2 won the first game in the series. I think it was a best of 7.
How early was Peeps knocked down?
That I'm not too sure of.
Okay.
I can't quite remember.
Played a lot of games though, so pretty early.
Yeah.
Wow. So they were fighting through all these people and the losers. Like the narrative I'm trying to come up with in my head is they were trying to fight through all of the pro players. They were stuck in this bottom arena, this battle royale.
Well, you can bet your ass they're signed now.
Oh, of course.
They're definitely they're going to get picked
scouted.
up ASAP.
They're getting scouted.
But they had to fight through Vitality and the game that you were talking about.
I think that was the losers finals.
Losers finals.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they really fought their way through the losers bracket, and they dropped the first game. G2 won the first game, and then they won 3 in a row, something like that. I think they won 3 games in a row.
What?
And it was just looking really good for Peeps. And then G2 came back again and tied it up.
Mm-hmm.
So game 7 all on the line.
I guess Peeps took it home.
They took it home.
It was a pretty. It seemed pretty even for maybe like the first half of the game. Like no one was really scoring. I think it was like 0-0 and no one really scored. And then Peeps came and just scored like 3 goals in the back half.
What?
And just really sealed the deal, right? And G2 didn't really they weren't close to winning that game 7. So it was crazy. There was a lot of fans there, but there was a lot of I think also just the support from like the other players and their sort of supporting cast members. I don't know, their parents and all that. Like all of those people were there too, and it was just such a great atmosphere. Everyone was so into it. All the seats were filled. Then it was standing room only, and then there was like barely anywhere to stand either.
Right.
And it was sort of flanked by the monster booth, which sort of cut off a little bit of that space. And there was a huge crane camera there too, so that took up a bunch of space. And people were just sort of packed wherever you fit in. Yeah. So it was such a great atmosphere.
There was a lot of Big Smash energy at the Rocket League. The Rocket League.
Rocket League had definitely Big Smash energy.
There you go.
And to be honest, I didn't really understand the draw of Rocket League.
Right.
I mean,
hot take. I still don't.
It's car soccer, and you wouldn't think that it's anything too interesting. The collegiate teams are very into the collegiate scene is very much into Rocket League.
Sure.
And I think I've changed my mind entirely after DreamHack.
Did you see what I was talking about before when the timer ends? It's like 3, 2, 1, and the 1 stays on the screen for as long as the ball's in the air.
Yes.
I was talking about that.
I was
last
so happy
episode.
I do this.
Yeah. There were some big plays with that too.
Really?
So, I mean, that's why Rocket League's cool, in my opinion.
And then,
all because of the last 1 second?
Yeah, because so if let's say you're 3-1, and you're the team with the 1 score, and it goes down to the 1 second, and you score in the net, I think the new round starts, and it's like either 10 or 30 seconds you have to score another goal.
Oh.
And that's nuts to me. Like,
so you could just really bring it back if you put on the pressure.
Literally bring it back. Like as long as the ball is in the air.
Yeah.
So I guess the technique is for the other team to get the ball to hit the floor. But yeah, that's like
they just want to get the ball out of play at that point.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a really cool
That's a cool mechanic.
What I think, so you look at the traditional sports titles, games like NBA 2K or NHL or Madden or whatever it is, and they are really replicating the sport in a game.
Right. Like that's the point of it.
Where what I think Rocket League actually, and I didn't get this until I watched more Rocket League at DreamHack, is that they're taking that traditional sport and you can really take the core of what that is. But the thing that's missing in those sports titles and watching those leagues and games is that it's like watching basketball, but the video game version. You need some of that flair, that sort of video gameness.
Yeah, the real video game version of that game.
Yeah. So, and it's exactly what Rocket League is. It's soccer, but they made it video gamey, where you can boost, you can fly in the air, and there's other mechanics that are not bound to real life physics.
Yeah, I mean, so much so that I keep having to say, you hear me say soccer cars a lot, but I more so say it so that I remind myself that it's soccer. It does not seem like a soccer game to me when you look at it from the outside. Like when you're playing, you're hitting a ball into the net, but that doesn't, for whatever reason, that does not feel like soccer.
But that's what makes it spectator friendly. Yeah. So it's something that I was I can't remember who I was discussing this with, but I was discussing the viability of like NBA Jam versus NBA 2K as a competitive esport. Because NBA Jam is so much more. I don't know if you guys know the game.
Yep.
It's like a 3-on-3 street style basketball instead of the traditional 5-on-5 with the actual rules. But you jump like 3 times higher than the hoop to do crazy dunks, and
it's like
the players
Super
are
Mario
super
Strikers.
Tall.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Exactly. And you need that video gameness to the actual sport to I think, make it more spectator friendly and more interesting, because it is a video game. If you wanted to watch, it's less impressive than actual basketball because it's a video game, and it's not impressive enough.
I mean, I would compare it to FIFA. right? Like you've got FIFA versus Rocket League, right? Like you've got your soccer game where you have, it's popular enough. Like it's really big in the UK. There are tournaments that are based out of FIFA, but it's not incredibly spectator friendly. It's really fun for the people who are really into it,
Right.
but it doesn't do a very good job at bringing that to the spectators.
So
It's
here's a question for you. Imagine FIFA, but instead of playing on the pitch, they're playing on the moon.
okay. Yeah,
Even that instantly makes it more interesting. Change up the environment. It can play exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Maybe not the moon. But wherever,
I'm
you
good
know
with
what I
FIFA
mean?
on the moon.
It just makes it more. You don't have to make it realistic. It's a video game.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah. Break boundaries.
Yeah.
It's
More
weird
than
to
the
see it
sky is
within.
the limit, actually.
And
Yeah.
now I'm really understanding why I would much rather watch and play Rocket League than FIFA.
Now that I think about it, that's just kind of EA in a nutshell, though. Is like find your boundaries and stay within them. EA Sports, it's in the game, in the brackets,
In the box.
EA Sports, it's in the box. Because, you've got that. You've got The Sims. That's literally you're playing house. It's a good game.
Exactly.
They're both great games, but good Lord, if it's not just trying to emulate real life.
Exactly.
And that's, you know what? That's good for people that can't do it. Mm-hmm. But also, why wouldn't, like Alex said, why wouldn't you just watch the real sport? Because, if your favorite player does something really, really like cool, he did that in real life. Like, wow. But if you're playing the game, like you can run forever, you can do whatever, but you're still kind of trying to emulate the real lifeness.
Yeah.
It's just not as cool. Like, if you're playing FIFA and you do like a, backflip kick into the net.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be cool the first time. But if somebody does in real life, it's a lot cooler.
Yeah.
Definitely. But you do that with a car and you do like a boost and do like a...
Now all of a sudden it's a video game and
Yeah.
you're like, wow, like this can't happen in real life. I can't get an RC car in real life with jet boosters and like refuel it on the field and like hit a ball into a net. Like, you know what I mean?
It's grounded in something real, and they've taken it. They put a video game spin on it. It's really,
Every aspect of it is grounded in reality. Absolutely.
So
That's interesting.
This is what Dreamhack did for me. I've become a fan of Rocket League.
Oh
so.
man. and Steven has just reaffirmed his love for Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people in it. The
That's
community's
fair.
awesome.
Oh my God, the community is so good.
Really,
I
really
love
good.
it. I love the Smash community so much.
Hey, let's talk about a little bit about what was happening at the Bell booth.
Okay.
So the Bell booth, they had Toronto Defiant there. So they had Mangachu and Logix there. And Steven, you want to get into a little bit more, but you get you played a one-on-one against Logix.
No.
I did play a one-on-one against Logix. So it was like
In Smash?
Overwatch.
In Overwatch.
So Logix
okay.
is on the Toronto Defiant.
Uh-huh.
Trying to find Overwatch team. So it was like 1v1 McCree. He beat me 5-0, I will say. But I will also say that it wasn't fair.
Why?
So the Bell booth let him bring his own stuff. So he got his mouse, his mouse pad, his keyboard. He's also a pro player, so I'm sure he knows all his like settings and stuff because he goes to events all the time. Meanwhile, I got I don't know what mouse I was using.
Oh God, they gave you like a ball mouse.
No, not a trackball mouse.
A trackball, that's it, yeah.
No, I got like a regular, I think maybe it was Corsair, but it was like their standard mouse and then like a Corsair keyboard, but there was no mouse pad, and the table that you're playing on was it was like rocky. Like it had like grooves and bumps in it.
Yeah, it was. I want to say, it had some texture to it, and they like sort of painted over the top of it, so it was a little bit slick as well. And you had no mouse pad, so there was some. I heard some complaints from somebody from Livid as well who was playing on there, and
yeah. I mean, to be fair, almost every round I got him to like a quarter of his HP. Like I was hitting shots, but there were some crucial shots that I should have been hitting, and I was like, man, I keep like flicking too much because my sensitivity's off, or like I You just can't get the
It
feel.
wasn't what you were used to, for sure.
Yeah, so I want to say on the record
Plus
that if
the
I was
rocket
at
table.
home, Logix,
Logix, if you're
1v1
listening to
me,
this,
bro.
there you go. Steven's calling for the rematch.
I also don't
gosh.
play McCree, so it was really cool that
Oh,
I
there
was
you go.
I was popping off a little bit. Yeah.
That was fun. They had meet and greets there, so I got a picture with Logix and Mangachu. I got their autographs. I think also Disguised Toast was there.
Disguised Toast was there?
Yeah, Choco Bars was there.
Oh, come on, man.
We did something I forgot to mention about Logix is we did an interview with Logix.
Yeah?
And when I got on stage to 1v1 him, I was like, if I win, you got to retweet our interview. And he was like, that's fair. And I think he stomped me because of that reason.
Oh, my gosh.
So that was really cool. What else was happening there? They had Steph Harvey there, but at the booth as well, they had some streaming happening. They had some meet and greets, and then Call of Duty. It was
Call of Duty was really cool. The Bell booth had COD before it came out, so they had like game dev kits, and they basically had a line where you could play 2v2s, so it's like a game mode, and that was really, really fun too. Yeah.
So Steven was there with Neffy from he's a friend of ours from Toronto as well, and they 2v2'd some other people, and it was close.
It was really close. We lost 5-6, so
Wow.
yeah.
That's close. That's very close.
Really, really close. I haven't
incredibly
played
close.
Call of Duty since Black Ops 1,
Wow.
and I was playing on a PS4, and I've never played Call of Duty on a PS4. So
All right.
But it was really hype. There was a lot of shit talk happening.
Yeah.
And I think Steven suffered to some of that shit talk, but you know.
So we went in really strong, like 5-1.
Okay.
And then they brought it back and won.
So I mean, we started doing a lot of trash talking. We were getting hype, and
I was
the
trying to
play
BM
was,
them in game and like kill them in really funky ways.
Yeah, like aggro, and then it sort of backfired.
That's so interesting.
I definitely could have closed that game and won it like 6-1.
Yeah.
But I was trying to have some fun, and
Oh, my gosh.
that bit me in the butt a little bit.
Wow.
Oh man, and the guy from EA that was there, I can't remember his name, but he
Not
was
EA,
hype.
Activision.
Sorry, Activision.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was
Really?
one of the guys that was
super
working the booth. He was crazy.
He
like
was into it.
Yeah. I started talking smack to the other team, and then he started like repping them and talking smack for them
No!
at me. It was really good. Really
That's
good
awesome.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
He was like, "Where were you all weekend? This is what we needed."
Oh, man.
But that's the interactivity that you were talking about before. Like there was a lot of even the monster booth was set up to be sort of a cafe of Monster. They had tables and chairs set up. They had their drinks that you could get, but it was all free. Right. So you could sit there, you could try out their drinks and have a little break. There was a lot of interactive booths where they would be doing a lot of giveaways, meet and greets.
The indie
all
booths
kinds
had beanbag chairs, and they had like this tree. So it was like a field, beanbag chairs that were green and stuff, and this tree that had all the TVs on it, so you could like play.
That's so cool.
It was really, really cool. Like a kid, like kind of kid friendly,
Yeah.
but not like kid branded. But kid branded, I don't know. It was really weird, but it was really like cool that the indie spot was like, you know, this new place, and it was kind of focusing on the growth, like the growth of gaming. Like these are the new games. This is like the tree, and you come and you play like in the tree section. Yeah, it was really cool.
That's awesome.
And
I'm still so jealous that Disguised Toast was there. 'Cause, oh my gosh. For those of you who don't know, Disguised Toast was a very popular Hearthstone streamer who is now a very popular Teamfight Tactics streamer. And I've been following him for a long time. So that's me.
I think the only recommendation I really, really have for Dreamhack, they need to open up those like sort of boxes that you have that overlook those kind of stadiums. They need to open up some of those boxes so that business meetings can happen and sort of business development can happen. Because there was really, we were doing a lot of chatting with different people. We were meeting a lot of people, and there was no real quiet place to go. And those sort of boxes would have been perfect to overlook some of the tournaments and the event itself while still being able to have those kind of meetings and facilitate that. And I think even if they were up for rentals or whatever it may be, just at like hourly bookings or whatever, I think that would have been really cool and really, really helpful. It'll help.
I mean, the way you're pitching it,
stimulate
it's a
the
great
scene.
way for them to make a little bit extra
That
scratch
too.
So
Why not? So
Yeah, it would have been good for interviews too. There was no
for
really
sure.
good place to set up to do interviews.
yeah, quite loud.
We found a few cool spots, but
Where'd you guys end up doing them?
in the bleachers.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's not bad.
And then
it looks good.
What Steven had mentioned also is like there was no real like just lights.
Yeah.
It was all like decorative lights. So if we were either had good lighting but it was too loud, or we had to go away from the lights where it's a little bit quieter, but then it's not lit up. So
okay.
that was a little bit difficult, but yeah, that's fine.
All in all, good event.
Fantastic. I would 100% go to another Dreamhack. I would keep going to those. And we got some cool merch out of it, and I really enjoyed myself.
And that's all the time we have today on our talk about Dreamhack
Oh, no.
2019.
Time's up.
Oh no, we're out of time.
Well,
Next
I didn't
year.
get much out of this session.
That's all right. You know what? I got a ton.
I think I'm gonna have to see my therapist again real soon.
I mean,
I need more time.
that's a shame.
There's definitely a post-event, post-con depression that's real.
That's very real.
And like,
And I was hoping this would, take that away, but it made it worse. So
Right.
thanks, Doc.
no, I definitely feel that. Like, I kind of wish I was back there and got to experience more. I'm like, I didn't get to see everything that I wanted, and
Yeah.
You always need another weekend.
yeah, like it wasn't enough.
Well, I mean, this just kind of further drives home the fact for me how like I just really need to make it work. I need to get myself out there and say like, you know what, work, whatever, family, just let's go. Anyway, before we go, Alex, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, go check out Organized Gaming.
All right.
Yeah, on Instagram, because we do a lot of posting. Throughout the event, we post a lot of Instagram stories on there.
Yep.
So that's probably the place that if you want to see what we're up to at events, you can check it out there.
There you go. That's at Organized Gaming.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's Organized Gaming without all of the vowels except for the first O.
Yes. That's
Anyway, Steven, do you have anything to plug?
I have a lot to plug. One, shout out to Dreamhack. I really do think that if you have the time, go check out Dreamhack, either their social media or their events. All the people we interviewed, Jay, Papa Rizzo, Miss Harvey, RJ, Smash player from Toronto,
Team Sailor Scouts.
Yeah. Please check all of them out. We're going to release media on them, but those people are amazing, and they did really make the event for me.
They deserve
personally
support.
speaking. So yeah, I am definitely shouting those people out, and shout out myself as well, because hey man, I need a little love.
Yeah, fantastic job, Steven. Really, we hustled hard. So
we did. We killed it. We killed it at the event. So also shout out to Chibi.
Yeah, Chibi hustled with us. So
make sure to check out
definitely.
her social media as well. And then you can find me at Steven Petrusic on Instagram and Twitter. So if you want to tweet or check out any of my media, definitely I'll see you there.
Yeah. And that, of course, is XChibiL on Twitter or ChibiL, ELLE, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Of course, you can check me out at StillJustMike, wherever you get your
I'm
content.
always checking him out
There you go.
nonstop. I
That
can't
would
help
be
it.
Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, not Mixer. Sorry. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Only ninjas on there.
Yeah, exactly. And of course at BO3 Podcast. And then of course you can find us, BO3 Podcast, on Twitter and Instagram. Find all of our cool photos and stuff and our tweets. And you know what? With that, I think we're gonna wrap it up. So guys, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you again.
We'll see you next week.
Come back. I'm waiting for you.
Every week there's some kind of mic spam that you always do. There it is. There it is.
I
for
mean, it
this
wouldn't
week.
be on brand if there wasn't, right?
That's true. All right. See you next week. Best of 3 is recorded before a live studio audience that's told to stay quiet the entire time. Best of 3 is me, StillJustMike, Alex Kim, and Steven Petrusic. Also, Best of 3 is now found wherever you get your podcasts, and I'm so proud to say that. In particular, if you're on Apple Podcasts, please do make sure to leave us a review. It really does help us out. We'll see you next week.